All right, we are here at our second Airbnb cabin, Ruby View. We have another cabin on the other side that is Viewpoint, best kept secret in Nevada. If anybody in Taekwondo ever wants to do high altitude training, you might want to book our Airbnbs. I'll put a link in the comments. We've got a full facility, rocky kind of gym, but it's a full fitness center with a sauna, and there's lots of places to run up the mountain if you want to do some hardcore training. And we've got in the garage, we've got mats and paddles and kicking bags and all kinds of stuff. So just plug in that.
Okay.
Anyway.
What are we here for?
We are here to talk about the Charlotte Grand Prix Challenge. It is technically a G2, but this is like an Olympic level athletes coming, isn't it?
Yes. It's
this is hardcore.
It's hardcore is a good way to call it.
I am like the American athletes will find out what they're actually up against in the world.
Yeah, this is going to be a eye-opening experience for all the spectators too, I think.
Okay, living in the country, we had a technical difficulty with the wind, so we might have to do a couple cuts. Anyway, we're talking about the Charlotte Grand Prix Challenge and how it is. Other than Iran, it might be more competition than the Olympics. Even though it's a G2, this is a huge, big deal. It's the biggest deal that USA Taekwondo has ever had, that I know of.
Yeah.
Unless you can correct me.
Certainly in recent history.
We have Russia coming.
Last 20 years. They're not going to be called Russians, but they're Russians, and there's lots of them, and they're going to win medals. But we also have Korea and China and Taipei.
Korea.
And a whole bunch of countries. You know, not everybody is participating. Even some of the Europeans are giving it a skip for some reason. And each country was allowed up to 4 participants per division, with a maximum of 50 athletes total in each of the 8 divisions.
But this is also an extra G2, even though it's just a G2. But you get to keep. So say you max out your points in G2, like Michael Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Who max out, like, other than President's Cup, which is a G3, which if you did and you medaled, you get to keep those points on top of your, say, 40 points. This is like that.
Right.
You get to keep your points.
They're extra points.
Extra points.
And so
that you get to keep.
And I have to make a comment that all of Africa, Asia, and Europe have already had their President's Cups, their G3s, and there's none scheduled yet for Pan America. So the Pan American president just had a birthday. Maybe he can get up and organize that because it's extremely important.
Get off his ass and organize
Extremely important for all Pan American athletes of all nationalities. And right now, there's a rumor it might be in September, early October, but that's just a rumor. It's not on the schedule, and USAT has not been confirmed about anything. So anyway, that's President's Cup. Back to the challenge.
Yeah, so...
What is the purpose of the challenge?
So this is Don's deal. He's the data and facts guy. I do some, but he loves it. So this is his passion. You have down here 3 medalists in each category get invited to the 2026 Roma Grand Prix, which is June 26th, which is the new cutoff for the new reset of points.
Right.
So this is very important because
the points will reset as of June 1st, reflected on July 1st. And so all the events starting in June, really starting with this Roma Grand Prix next year, those are your new points to get to the Olympics.
So you want to get invited to the new point Grand Prix, which is a G6.
Right. So this is a big deal.
And even though your points might reset, you want to do well at this event because it's a special event. Not just the competition that you can like check yourself against how good you are with the rest of the world that you probably haven't, like Patu, you know, doesn't have the Europeans and the East Europeans and the Koreans coming to. This is, you're having literally the top athletes in the whole world coming to America to compete. So this is a check yourself. How good are you?
And it's really good for the spectators as well, and hopefully a lot of people will be watching online, which is your best opportunity.
We'll be posting that.
Yes, because the we've documented and everybody knows that at the U.S. Open, for example, whenever big European teams and especially big Chinese, Korean teams come, they dominate. Well, all those teams are coming, and there's going to be more than ever. So that's great competition, and it's going to be very tough because only the top 3 medalists, you have to fight for the bronze. Gold, silver, and 1 bronze.
Like
They're
the
the people
Olympics.
Invited to the
Is it
Grand
like
Prix,
the Olympics?
just like the Olympics
Yep.
and
You
the
have to
Pan Am
fight for your
Games,
bronze.
and also the what was I going to say? Anyway, we'll cover more.
The medalist needs to get 2026 Roma Grand Prix, June 26.
Right, that's not it. Anyway,
How did USA pick for provision?
Oh, okay.
Per division.
Right. So the USA, like every other country, could pick a maximum of 4, and some countries did pick a lot of 4 athletes, like Spain, for example, maxed out 4 in almost every division. Canada even, sent 4 in a number of divisions. Russia sent 4 in a number of divisions. In fact, they might have snuck in 5 in 49. I don't know how they did that. But anyway, what the USA did is they said, okay, we just had team trials in early 25 to go to Worlds for seniors. So the team medalist, the champion in the Olympic weights, 49, 57, etc. for women, 58, 68, etc. for men. Those were the first option to go to this event. The second option was the off Olympic weight. So for example, female 46 and female 49, they were invited. And then USA Taekwondo took the top point getters in World Taekwondo rankings. And that was as of, I think it was April 1st. It was either April 1st or May 1st. And so that was a key determinant. And so that's how...
Did they wait for the rankings?
They waited a couple days just to cross the line.
What was the May?
I think it was May. It was May 3rd or something.
Because they had to wait for...
some results in Europe.
Yes.
Right. But as it turns out...
Which is a big deal.
It was a big deal, but it didn't affect anything. It didn't affect anything.
Okay.
But it could have. And
no,
so...
Sophia Osagura went way up because she won the gold.
She won the silver, I think, in that event. And that means she didn't get to go because her points weren't high enough. So Sophia Osagura is one of the athletes that was not high enough ranking as of May, rankings.
I know I'm jumping the
and therefore she and people like Montana Miller, who was an example of not being allowed to change their weight class fast enough.
I know that's in miscellaneous.
Yeah, we'll get back to that.
We'll go back to that.
So anyway, we're kind of jumping around randomly here because it's a beautiful day.
This is how we do, So I got on here max 50 per person.
Yeah, we've talked
which
that.
is USAT documented outline.
We covered that.
Are there many nations participating? We should go over the nations that are participating and who are not, because Iran is not coming.
Iran's basically the only big country that's not coming.
And they're
China, Korea, Croatia is sending some, but not very many actually. Serbia is sending a few. Spain is spending a lot. Great Britain is sending a few, but a lot of their top athletes have retired. Although Caden Cunningham in heavyweights is just returning to action, so he'll be here with his first event. France is sending their big names. Russia, of course.
Coming
Caden is coming
from Europe.
Yes, he just got out of recovery, whatever he was dealing with.
I'm very excited.
So yeah,
I love Caden.
So Tunisia has a very strong team actually, with just a few athletes, but they're strong. Jordan is not sending many athletes at all, so that's a bit of a surprise.
Is there heavyweight coming? Jordan?
No.
Oh, that's a bummer.
No. So anyway, that's there's a lot of different countries. I don't know the number, but probably 40 plus.
Is your list the prediction part of this?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so do you want me to go to that now?
Sure.
Okay. We're going to do Don's predictions. This is based on data and facts. We'll see how well he, predicts.
Yeah. It's never...
So we're going to, day 1, you have F59.
57.
Female 57. I don't know. I'm having a brain fart. Male 68. And female 60. Plus 60. Is it plus 67 or minus 67?
It is plus.
Plus 67. So these are Olympic weights.
All the divisions are Olympic weights.
So this is an Olympic weight class. So there's no world in between. There's only 8 weight classes, correct?
Yes.
4 for women, 4 for men.
And yes, and the Americans who are invited, they get to choose if they qualified to go to which division they prefer to. So, for example, Victor Rodriguez, who's actually registered in minus 68, but he competes in 74.
Right.
He decided to go up to men's 80 to see how he could do against the bigger guys.
Minus 80.
So that's an interesting choice.
Right.
There's also a number of athletes around the world who this year, post-Olympics in Paris, have decided to move up in weight class. And so we'll be talking about that because there's some surprises in some cases, and they're doing extremely well in some cases.
Okay. So, Don's predictions.
Yeah. Okay.
Based on data and facts, let's start with day 1, which is female 57 minus 57, male minus 68, and female plus 67.
Okay.
Go.
So these are the favorites, and I based this on recent results and results since Paris. And I factored in, frequency of events, who they're competing against, and which events are the big ones. And of course, the biggest single event since the Paris Olympics was the President's Cup Europe, which just happened a few weeks ago. And there was a huge participation, and it really sorted out some of the pretenders from the likely champions at the Grand Prix Challenge. So, for example, I'm gonna post online a more detailed description of what I'm talking about here, so I don't get bogged down in too many details here. But I'm just going to list the highlights of who I think are going to medal. In female 57, I think the Russian is going to take the gold, Margarita Blizniakova. And then the Italian Giada Al-Helwani is doing extremely well. She'd probably medal. Tunisian China Toumi has also had 4 firsts since Paris. There's a couple others. Can't forget about the Chinese. Super tall Zhong Xiluo's coming.
Yeah.
And,
I think she's
she could sneak in there, but she hasn't been very active. She just did President's Cup Asia, where she got first. And then the Brazilian, Maria Clara Pacheco. She could surprise. There's a surprise here with one of the people coming up in weight classes. The Screaming Turk, Merv Dinsel Cavarat, has moved up to 53, which means she's doing 57.
She did 49 and was competing at 53, and now she's up to 47 or 57.
Yeah, she has to compete at Olympic weight. She's choosing to do that. She's making the big move. She's had 3 firsts in 53 recently, including President's Cup Europe.
Well, what did she do in U.S. Open?
She didn't come to the U.S. Open.
Yes, she did.
Last year she did, and she won 53.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm mixing it.
Yeah. Woohoo! That was the difficulty we had before.
This is the fun of living in the mountains and the country. It's no wind, and then all of a sudden, lots of wind.
Well, while your mighty biceps are holding that stable, I'll go to men's 68.
Yes, men's 68.
Men's 68, there's no one really dominant, which is sort of the kind of unusual, but maybe it's because it's the start of the Olympic cycle. So there's 4 guys, I think, who could medal, most likely. The Brazilian, Pontes. Great Britain's Matthew Powell, who's got second at the President's Cup in Europe. Turkey's Berke Erer, if I pronounce that right. And then a Russian, of course, Ilya Danilov. So they're the guys I think are going to medal. Our top USA athlete is Mako Rodriguez. He's a little rusty because he hasn't competed since the U.S. Open. But so not counting on too much from the U.S. men. Hopefully he wins a couple of matches.
We want surprises.
We want surprises, but let's be realistic.
F plus 67.
Plus 67. This is the 2 heavyweight categories I think are going to be extremely entertaining. So don't discount them. Men and women.
Okay.
Men especially.
But right now we're talking day 1, which
women.
is
Women.
Women.
We got a bunch. We got 2 top Chinese women coming, who win almost everything they go into. We also got the Olympic champion, Althea Loren. And we've got
what country is she from?
France. We also got the Croatian who just won the World Juniors and has had 4 firsts, first 4 gold medals since. got second at the President's Cup Europe, and her name is Magdalena Matic. So they're the likely medalists. Could be a big surprise here because the towering Belgian who used to do 67, Sarah Chari, has gone up to 73. Get this, since the Olympics, she's had 7 events, 7 G events she's gone to, including President's Cup Europe. She got first, she got gold medals in all 7. She has swept everything she has been in 73. She could take the heavyweight. So I think in the final it's going to be one of the Chinese, likely Wenzhou
Which
Niu,
is plus 67.
Niu Wenzi against Sarah Chari in the final. That's my prediction.
Okay, let's go to day 2.
Day 2.
Men minus 58.
I think this is going to...
Female minus 67.
Yep.
And men minus 80.
Right. So men's 58, I think it's going to go according to kind of rankings. We've got Vito Dell'Aquila from Italy, who just won President's Cup Europe. It was his only event so far since the Olympics, though, but he won. Similarly, Tunisia's Mohamed Jendoubi is also coming. He's a late entry, actually. And he won the President's Cup Africa, also his only event. So they might be a little rusty, but their rust is never sleeping because they won both their events.
They might not be as rusty as they look.
And Vito Dell'Aquila defeated a Russian in the President's Cup final in Europe, Idar Bagov, who's coming, and also the Belarusian Georgy Gurtsev, who got third at the President's Cup Europe. So those are the 4 people I think are going to medal. Could have a surprise from the Brazilian, Giovanni Di Marais, but that's who I like at 58.
Okay. When we finish M80,
Yeah.
is it? I'm going to cut and I'm going to go light a cigar.
Cigar. I love it. Wait for that. Stay tuned for the cigar. Female 67. There's a lot of 62ers. A lot of the 62ers that are doing 67 and doing well. Of course, we know that Hungarian Viviana Martin won the Olympic medal, and she's a 62er. She's coming. She's one of the favorites.
Yeah.
Along with the person I think is going to win the gold, a Russian, surprising or not, Lilia Kuzina, who won the President's Cup Europe, and she's had 2 other firsts. Other people I think are going to be strong contenders. Great Britain's Aliyah Powell, who's moved up from 57. And the young Spaniard who works at Hankook, Lina Moreno Reyes, who was second at President's Cup Europe. Christina Ticha, I hope she makes weight. That's a big question mark for a lot of people. She's also very rusty. She has not competed at 67 since the Olympics.
Well, she's doing
and only competed once.
She's doing the Anna Zolotich thing. Won the Olympics at 57, and then they gain a whole bunch of weight and then bomb out and because they can't make weight. So I hope that Christina Teachout is not going that path. What is it with USA female athletes? I've posted many posts about food plans and psychological, I don't know what it is with women in the USA. They use food as their drug.
Right.
Okay, and if you want to go the Ozempic and other remedies, you're not gonna be healthy. You need to do it healthy. You need to follow a food plan. You need to be disciplined. And I don't know what it is with American, coming from a background of an eating disorder and in my high school years, I try to help.
Boy, I really opened a can of whoop ass there.
Well, but
you're going for it.
Yeah, but it's a fucking problem.
Okay.
It's a fucking problem.
Yeah. Speaking of Anna Zolotich, she's also registered for the USA in female 67. However, she was signed up for 3 events recently.
She's not going to show up.
Didn't show up for any of the 3.
She won't show up.
So we'll see if she shows up and makes weight. Men's 80, before we get to the cigar. We have a athlete in the USA who is one of the 4 favorites to medal at this event. CJ Nicholas.
Yeah, baby.
CJ.
Go, CJ.
He's had 2 firsts this year.
He's got his groove back.
US Open and the Belgian Open. Got second at the Dutch.
He did great.
Of course, he has to potentially face the tower from Tunisia, Firas Katoussi.
His kryptonite.
Gold medalist.
You can
CJ
conquer.
hasn't beat him.
CJ, you can conquer your kryptonite.
You can climb that tower. Also, there's two other Pan Americans who give CJ fits: Enrique Rodriguez Fernandez from Brazil and Joaquin Churchill Martinez from Chile. Both have beaten CJ recently, and they give him a great match, as does Brandon Seeley from Jamaica. So anyway, they're the favorites, and the wild card is a guy who hasn't competed much at all, Jeonwoo Seo from Korea. He's coming.
I love him.
Action man.
The smiling guy.
Yeah. So we're at a break point.
Yeah. So we're going to cut, and we're going to get a cigar, and then we're going to get to another good area, day 3, which is F49.
The 49ers.
49ers, and M plus 80, which is be like Maya
The
Mata
giant man.
and John Healy.
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
And we're back.
Steph got a cigar.
Yeah, baby.
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain.
Where's that from?
Honduras and Nicaragua, where the tobacco is from. It's as good as Cubans, but a whole lot cheaper.
We like that.
We're cigar snobs, but we're like really cheap because we're retired. So we've done all this research, and we like the Chow, which is CAO.
We like the Brazilias.
The Brazilias.
And
Shout
the
out to Juan
Colombias.
Moreno.
Juan Moreno. Cheers, Juan.
Yeah, cheers, Juan.
Been enjoying your show.
We love the Warehouse 15.
We do. We love it.
Sometimes.
We love it. We love it. How's that cigar?
Herb can be annoying sometimes, I'm just saying. Love Terrence and Juan.
Terrence and Juan are going to be coaching at this event.
Yes, they are.
Along with
Who
other
are the
peak
other coaches coming to?
Well, there's some other peak
the
performance
show?
coaches,
Yeah.
including
Lee.
yeah, Grandmaster Lee from Minnesota, I believe it is, along with Coach Park from Canada, from Manitoba.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Jay Park. And there's a lot of other coaches, of course, too.
There's
going to be a big party. All three of them.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
Yeah. All three of those Park kids.
This is a huge event.
Skylar's ranked
It's
number
so weird
1.
that it's only a G2. This is like a G6.
Yeah, it is, because it's
like
a Grand Prix
G6.
challenge. It's a Grand Prix challenge.
G6.
And people are treating it that way. So, should we get back to the day 3 predictions?
Yes. So we have female 49, minus 49. And then we have male plus 80.
Okay.
So we're back to Dawn's predictions.
Dawn's predictions.
Yep.
Okay, so day 3. Some people are saying, "Oh, day 3, it's Sunday, it's boring. I'll watch the U.S.
exciting.
Open golf instead." Yeah, no. Bryson DeChambeau is going to run away with that, so don't worry about that. Watch day 3 at the Grand Prix Challenge.
We love Bryson.
The 49ers, Steph's favorite, the 49ers.
We got Maya Mata, go baby.
And we got Melina Daniel.
And Melina Daniel.
Who's done way better.
Has done great in 53, minus 53.
Yeah, she'll have to.
And she's going down. Her points go to 49.
Lead down a little bit to 49.
Yeah.
And we got the men's plus 80, the Giants. And there's a lot of Giants coming.
John Healy.
There's a lot of guys coming that are bigger than John Healy.
I know. He's got a challenge.
So anyway.
And isn't Michael Rodriguez doing that as well?
Michael Rodriguez from Texas is also.
Yes.
Not Michael Rodriguez. Rodriguez.
I don't think that John Healy and Michael Rodriguez has ever fought, and they might be in the same bracket.
They could be, if everyone shows up, as we see them right now, they'd be in the same 2-seed quadrant.
It's a good experience for Michael Rodriguez.
It sure is. Shoving and pushing those enormous men.
Either get bigger
the big
or
bad
get
men of plus 80. Okay, let's
great.
do the 49ers.
All right.
Here's the 4 likely favorites to medal.
Double A batteries coming from Russia. Double A battery.
There are 5 Russians. They're only not 4, but they got 5.
How did that happen?
Well, they've got 5 AIN athletes. I looked them all up, and Taekwondo data
snuck one in.
Taekwondo data has them all as Russian. One of them might be Belarusian, pretending to be Belarusian, but Taekwondo data has them all as Russian, all 5. Interesting. Double A battery is one of them, but she's a 46er. Russia has some excellent athletes coming, leading with Galina Medvedeva, won the President's Cup Europe just recently. And there's a 46er as well, that Russian 46er that won the President's Cup Europe, but she's a 46er. 46ers have a tough time moving up to 49.
They do. They usually don't do it.
The other 3 favorites are There's a couple of new names for you here. The Serbian, Andrea Bokan, who was second at the President's Cup Europe, has 2 other firsts and 3 other seconds. The German, Sufarada Kiskalt. I've liked her for years. She won the Spanish Open and she's had 3 seconds, didn't go to the President's Cup Europe. And then, of course, the Spaniard, the gymnast from Spain, Adriana Cerezo Iglesias. She hasn't won anything recently. A lot of seconds and thirds. Melina Daniel, be great if she got to quarterfinals.
Cough.
Excuse me. Assuming she makes 49. And it's too bad Sofia Segura is not there.
She's a very determined
Hopefully
girl.
Maya Mata will surprise and win a couple of matches too. Let's do the big guys.
We haven't got to the surprises yet. That's the thing.
Yeah, let's do the big guys.
Yeah, baby.
The big men.
Heavyweights.
I do the puffing, it's all yours.
And I just have to say that what's crazy, and we don't, promote combat taekwondo, which is also going on. The heavyweights are going on June 14th.
That's right, there's 2 Americans.
Yeah, which is, one is going by Ukraine.
That's Sokolowski from Washington State.
And he trained with Washington State.
Washington United.
Yes. And then we have Will
Finster.
No, that's
Finley.
Finley. He goes by Finster on Facebook.
Okay.
He's heavyweight, and he won in Colombia a couple years ago. So this is combat taekwondo.
Yeah, combat taekwondo.
You gotta buy the tickets. Anyway, I love him.
Yeah.
He won nationals in 2023. So I just.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wish we could be back in USAT.
That'd be great if you did
I would love to see him fight
some real
John
guys.
Healy. Yeah.
Yeah. Fight these other huge guys
All
that
right,
are way
go
bigger
back
than
to
him.
plus 80. Who we got?
2 big Russians, who both came first and second at the recent President's Cup Europe, and they got some other firsts as well. Rafael Ayukiev is going to win. The guy is 6'8" at least, a monster. He has only won in the last 2 years. He has only won events. Every event he's done in, he's won. Vladislav Larin, former world champion, former Olympic champion. He's the second Russian. Not quite as big, more skilled, quicker. He's got that turning back kick. Watch out for him. USA's John Healy.
Yeah, baby.
Has done really well. His last 4 events.
He's doing so good.
He won gold in his last 4 events since late last year.
Yep.
Way to go, John. And then there's a Spaniard, Ivan Garcia Martinez, and the Norwegian, Richard Ordeman, who could threaten as well. Big thing happening here also. The Italian stallion, Simone Alisio,
Oh my God.
who defeated CJ every single time he fought him.
That's his
Has moved up to
kryptonite.
87.
Come on, CJ. Overcome your kryptonite.
Simone has moved up to 87.
Oh.
He's been in 3 events at 87. He won all 3, including the President's
I
Cup
wonder
Europe.
why he moved up.
He has maxed out his 70 points, and he wants 20 more. So I think the final, the big surprise would be Simone versus Rafael, the Russian, in the final. But more likely, if the seeding works out, it's going to be the 2 Russians in the final. John Healy, I hope he gets the bronze. We're done with my predictions.
I hope John Healy gets the fucking gold.
Well, I hope he does too, but I'm thinking the Russians. Okay. How are we going to do, the USA?
So I have on here, overall, how many medals for USA?
I think we described that if you're listening. I'm hoping for 2. 2, CJ, hopefully silver, and John Healy, a bronze. The only other chance I think we have as a surprise would be Naomi Alade.
But that's if
she gets lucky in the female heavyweight.
But that's if everybody shows up.
Yeah, if
a
everybody
lot of
shows
it,
up.
a lot of your competition is who actually shows up versus who's registered.
Well, this is a big deal, and they're going to show up. A few people won't just because, but most of these people are being sponsored by their nations, unlike here in the USA. And so they're getting their free expaid trip. It's an extra G2, gets them into the Grand Prix in 26. This is a really big deal. So how is the USA going to do overall? Well, you know, there's 8 divisions with 4 in each for for USA. That's 32 athletes. It'd be normal if half won their first fight and half lost their first fight. Unfortunately, looking at the whole team we have, I think we'll be doing well if 1/3 win their first fight and if a few win their second fight. It's not looking great for us. That's not putting us down. It's just saying we got to work harder The academy should double and triple in size, and we need way more sponsorships. Tops and Ace are gone.
They're gone.
We need way more financial support for athletes.
But the academy is not taking under 18-year-olds anymore because of stupid pedophile safe sport needs to go away, and you need chaperones there. You need to bring in parents and the young kids, the cadets and the juniors. Have chaperones there. Watch your fucking kids. I'm sorry, I just get upset because you got to develop the pipeline, and you got to let's start funding these younger kids that are like. Remember Anna Zolotich?
Oh, yeah.
She won everything as a cadet.
Yeah.
She won everything as a junior.
Yep.
She won as a junior the Junior World Olympics. She got silver, and then she won the Olympics in gold.
She won world championships too.
Yes.
As a junior.
She won everything. I remember you.
That's what showed out that she had real Olympic potential.
Yes. I mean, we need to like bring those kids that are doing this well into the academy, and with their parents and chaperones, and fund them, or we're just we're not going to get the medals that we got to develop the pipeline. Anyway.
Yeah, because we're supposed to dominate in 28. I'm sorry, that is complete horseshit. The USA is not going to dominate in 28. We're not going to have entries in all 8 divisions. We get 4.
Safe sport is killing us.
Well, there's a lack of. They're not spending the money on the athletes.
No, they're spending the money on administration, and I won't go there.
Well,
okay.
Listen to Warehouse 15 if you want to hear about the administration.
They go there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, baby.
Anyway.
We're done that.
Yeah, miscellaneous. Who is not there for USA that should be there?
Yeah,
Maybe Sophia Osagura and F49.
She's been the best athlete in 49, true 49 this year, so it's kind of too bad that she's not there. The rules are the rules, and she got, on the backside of the rules, and she will most likely qualify to go to the next Grand Prix challenge. I believe it's in Wuxi.
She should go to Wuxi.
Yeah, and she'll get funded, of course, so that's probably a lock. I don't think we're going to have 4 athletes in every division going to Wuxi because people have to pay for it themselves.
But Wuxi is the loophole into the Olympics.
And Montana Miller in 57.
Yes.
She will be no doubt changing her weight class.
She's 5'11".
Yeah.
And she had to go up in the weight class. She's still skinny as hell.
Yeah. So in May, athletes change their weight class.
Yes.
It's going to show up in the July rankings.
I hope she
So watch for July rankings.
Yes. And I posted the June rankings, the top 100 in Olympic and World Taekwondo, USA athletes in.
Yeah, that's what you do every month.
Every month.
Yeah. So we want this to be a great event. Everybody watch it. We're going to.
This is like the Olympics, but it's only a G2.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year it could be like a G3, which is still an open. It's going to be spectacular. We will be watching it live. We will post the links. We will post the brackets when they come out. So, you have anything else to add?
I do not. I think we've
covered.
covered.
Card surprises.
I've already covered those.
Okay, USA changes.
Challenges. What does it say?
You put USA
chances.
Chances.
It's my printing.
Okay. All right. I think we're good.
Cheers. Let's have a cheers. Cheers, America.
Let's go USA Taekwondo.